People, deluded, I'm back again. You know me, you as well as I, people. I hope first and foremost, better yet, I hope you're all doing well and safe. But you and I, people, at this moment in time, especially if you're Arsenal fans, you're sick and tired of transfer news, innit? You just want to see the players who are not wanted at this club's futures decided. You don't know me, I'm a big fan of Torreira. I'm not a fan of this willy won't he stuff. The same goes for Torreira, that goes for Guendouzi. Ozil's situation is delicate, but him as well. You got the Socrateses, you've got the Mustafis, you're linked with the Parteys, we're linked with the Aouars, we've now been linked with a couple of more players. But I'm sick and tired. Now, it doesn't matter if I'm sick or tired, you know, I just want to see players come in and play his goal. On one hand, I'm remaining as calm as I can be as a fan that's, you know, not connected with the club and knows our inner dealings beyond rumours. But at the end of the day, it's a bit concerning, you know, 2 weeks until the window's closed. You know, Arsenal is one of the teams, considering where we finished in comparison to the other boys, you know, needed to do the most work. Like, I know people, even myself, who was questioning Spurs, you know, they brought in Doherty and Højbjerg. Two good additions, but they were in isolation. They've now brought in Reguilon and, you know, a certain Gareth Bale, so that flips that on its head. Chelsea, you know, they lost to Liverpool and there's question marks over Havertz's role in his last 2 games. Werner's still finding his feet. There's been a couple of injuries to Ziyech and people like that, so their season's been different. But, you know, eventually when everything's clicking, they've got a little base there. City, you know, I actually felt City could have done more, but at the end of the day, they needed a centre-half. They brought one in. Technically, they've replaced Sane with a wide man. And, you know, Liverpool, it looked like they weren't doing anything on one hand. They flipped it, you know. Thiago's come out of nowhere. They've got Jota. Forgive me if I'm wrong, but I don't know when they actually signed the Greek left-back, you know. Did they sign him in January or in the summer? But I'm pretty sure they did that. To go with Minamino now, I know he was signed in January, but it sounds cliche, but it's like a new signing, sort of, you know, he's joined mid-season. You know, it's only Arsenal and United, really, you know, not everybody's happy. I doubt you'd find a football fan of any club that's happy with all their business 100%. But, you know, I'd say out of if you was to go to Arsenal and United fans, I feel we're probably the most sour. You know, United have got a lot of areas. You know, you've even heard, it's not for another vid, but talk of signing the centre-half. They don't want to, which is suicide in my opinion. Arsenal, we know the Parteys and the Aouars, like I said. So I want to see something happen. The first one I want to talk about, and it's various Twitter people have been tweeting it and things, and I've been looking on, you know, not that Sky Sports, I can say, you know, they're in the know necessarily, because 1 minute ago, you know, Brewster was leaving Liverpool for Palace. Their owners come out and said you're chatting nonsense. So you got to give you know, Sky Sports the same scrutiny, but at the same time, I haven't really seen anybody credible of sorts, to my knowledge, reporting this whole Zaha stuff. Now, if you don't know, apparently it's the same old feasible rumour in that, you know, money, I assume, plus Reiss Nelson on loan for Wilfried Zaha. And there's also been talk of bringing in the 2 midfielders we've been linked with, and also Zaha on a loan with an obligation to buy. Now, you saw Zaha step up and score a brace against his former team United. Personally, I wouldn't mind Zaha for a decent fee and whatnot. I feel we're cool in them positions. You know, you've got Lacazette. I know his future isn't decided. You've got Eddie, and I know Zaha's not an out-and-out striker, but he plays through the middle. A debate to be said, do you go with Eddie or Zaha there? I know it's a bit harsh to Eddie because he's developing and all of those things. But I feel we're cool in the sort of striking options. Like, I'm a fan of Zaha, but I feel if we're gonna do that, and if Zaha comes, I welcome him with open arms, and I like him as a footballer. I would like this to happen regardless of what I'm about to say, people. But when I use my brain, unless what Wenger used to say, a super player, if we're able to do it, becomes available. Like, you know, if we've got these options, and the only one in my head is Alexis Sanchez, because that's what I think of. You know, let's say Alexis Sanchez was the same Alexis that we bought from Barca, and in this make-believe world, he is available at Barcelona right now with the options we have. You go and do a signing like that because he's dramatically better than what we have. There might not be an opportunity to do it again. Now, I'm not discrediting Zaha. You know, he's a very relatable player. He grew up in London. He's a baller. You know, I like Zaha. I want Zaha at my club, but I don't necessarily think he's that. I do think he can help us go to the next level. I do think he would play better with better players. I would be ecstatic with his signing, but in my heart, do I believe signing Zaha he's of the level right now where it justifies, you know, disrupting the sort of balance we might have on the flanks? I'm not too sure. You know, he's Premier League proven and all of these things, and I would like him, and he doesn't necessarily just have to be used out wide. And again, we might sell Lacazette, we might do other things, you know, Aubameyang's getting on in a couple of years. But, you know, with Williams' addition, with I'm a big fan of Saka. He needs to get game time. Pepe, I do think he's going to have a better season. Aubameyang is technically occupying a position, ironically, that Zaha might take up on the left-hand side, and I might be forgetting anyone. But it's feasible to imagine that sort of thing, especially the Reiss Nelson on loan, you know. I think Reiss Nelson's future, honestly, people, is in the balance. I feel if the right offer came permanently, Arsenal and him, Reiss Nelson might entertain it himself for first-team football purposes, and Arsenal might entertain it. I do think we'd entertain a loan. Equally, I do believe there's a future for him at the club this season. It's down to him, you know. How many games does he want to play? He needs to honestly, first and foremost, ask himself, does he see himself being involved in minimum 20, ideal world 30 plus games across all competitions? Let's be honest, you know, he's a young player. He's going to have to bide his time initially. He's behind in the pecking order, but we've got some, you know, some good options in those positions he plays, and we've got some performing players. And obviously Saka indirectly, not that you should be adding more pressure to Nelson because of what a next man's doing, but Saka's emergence has flipped it on its head. So does he honestly believe he's going to play a lot of games here? If he believes that, then back yourself, you know. You need to back yourself. It don't matter if man's bought for 70 million or Pepe's, Saka's the best thing since sliced bread. Back yourself. If he backs himself, cool, but he needs to ask himself, can it be what he's at the level where he would improve dramatically playing? I think a big part with Nelson is, like I said, he's got to ask himself, can he get that game time here? Not the occasional Europa. Because what people don't understand is they need minutes. Now, many people will say, when your chance comes, take it, you know. You might not be involved for 20 games. That one chance happens, take it. I believe that. You got to. That's how man get chances. But at the same time, if we're honest with ourselves, you know, when you're a young player learning and developing and things, minutes is one thing, but continued minutes. You need to build that confidence. You need to build that experience. You need to build that rhythm. Like you see with Callum Hudson-Odoi, you know, when he plays, sometimes he's hot and cold. I think if he got in the Chelsea team or got in any team and got a little 5-10 games, you know, playing, you'd see a better Callum. He needs that rhythm. Is Nelson going to play to the level where he deserves that rhythm, you know? Because you have to take your chances. Last season, he had some good performances. He had some so-so ones. And even, you know, Arteta's bigged him up since he's come to this club. Arteta's bigged him up in the press conference before West Ham. Forgive me if I'm wrong, Reiss Nelson wasn't on the matchday squad. Now, again, he shouldn't take that personally because you've got bare man fighting for a spot, but he's got to be selfish. Not just him. Emil's got to be selfish. Joe Willock's got to be selfish. Eddie's a bit elevated now when you look past Saka. Eddie's kind of, when you look at the Joes, the Emils, the Nelsons, I think Eddie's kind of advanced from that pack. He's gone from being with them to a somewhat rotation option. You know, he's in the matchday squad. He's kept Lacazette out of the team. You know, they've all got to ask themselves, are they going to play consistent football, substantial football, so that they can look back a year from now and say they're better players? I want them all to stay at the club, and I'm sure they do. But when I remove my emotion and my love for the young players and all of these sort of things, and I look at it without emotion, there's every reason to stay at this club. There is every reason to also temporarily leave. Minutes are currency at the end of the day. And I would entertain that potential move, people, but I don't see it happening. Again, I didn't think Aubameyang was coming to this club. I'm pessimistic on all transfers. And I'm not going to lie to you, you know, I can very much see Arsenal doing something where you sign a Zaha, you know, you need 2 midfielders, so you sign Zaha and or Zaha and Partey, if any. Me, the priority, in the same way before Gabriel came into this club, the priority was centre-half. That's what I needed to see. The priority equally is firmly in midfield. I think, you know, if he was to start this season, I have more confidence in the collective wide options we have than the collective midfield options. That doesn't mean I don't rate anybody. That doesn't mean I don't think anybody can't have a part to play. I'm just looking at it. That squad, 36 games left on the board in the Premier League. Europa League, I want to get, I don't know about no one else, but I want to get to that final. I want to get top 4 in an ideal world, and obviously want to try and retain the FA Cup. That would be probably the A-starest season, if that's even a phrase or a sentence, that Arsenal can have. Minimum, you want to see top 4 qualification or Europa League, or it is a bad season. You know, it can be a season of development under Arteta where he's built the squad more in his image, but every day that we are not in Champions League, even though we're not serious in it, is a failure. It's that simple. So I'm not too sure on what to believe in relation to that, but we've spent too long. Now, I've also seen a lot of people, but the account I saw it was from was Law Top 20. He said, or she, I don't know who it is, they said Arsenal and Chelsea are exploring the possibility of doing business with one another. Now, what does that mean? Do they want? I've heard Chelsea today, they wanted to sign a defensive mid or such. I know Torreira isn't on that on paper, but he's linked with a move away. If we're swapping players, you know, it could be him. He's not a defensive mid, but Guendouzi, I don't think Chelsea would be looking for him, but there's that, you know. Could it, I don't know who could it be, you know. Could it be something weird like Lacazette? You know, could it be anybody? who are we looking at from Chelsea? You know, if you're not trying to give us Kante, I'm not trying to hear it. You know, I would take Reiss James if you gone. Obviously, I'm not being realistic. I wouldn't mind Loftus-Cheek if they was to throw that one out there. But I don't know, people. I'm just speculating. Who knows, people? You know, if Martinez was still at the club, you could probably speculate that. But, you know, I'm seeing everything online regarding Arsenal and Chelsea as a potential swap deal, as a potential Chelsea are looking at a player, Arsenal looking at a player. There's not too much to do, but that could be somebody wassing because, like I said, you know, just the fact of Arsenal and Chelsea are considering doing business, it gets people talking. So I don't know what to read into that one or if to read into that one, people, at all. But moving away from that, though, people, and AFC Bell now, you know, you got Mr. Arsenal, you've got ZR, you've got LT Arsenal, you've got some really good Arsenal accounts. Now, FC Bell be rating your thing. But you see, if Partey don't sign, you, my brother, I got some questions to answer for. I don't want it to get to that, because I want Partey. But you got some questions, because you've been doing a madness these last few weeks that Partey is coming, and you've been doing a lot. And he's continued with that. He said, well, I'll put it in order, which I felt relevant. So apologies, people. Apparently, and obviously this is all in light with the whole you've seen Torreira's agreeing a separate loan with a permanent option to Atletico and the swap deals and the rest of it. But apparently Atletico Madrid do not see a great benefit by accepting an offer involving a player and 25 million euros as they are benefiting from the government support plan due to COVID-19, which only allows them to spend 25% of sales profit on new players. And apparently Morata's going on loan to Juventus. I just felt to mention that. They've also been, Jimenez has also been linked with City. But you have heard, you know, Atletico have no money and all of this. And if it's not Torreira now, you know, before that it was, can we swap Lacazette and Partey? So I don't know if it goes to that. What scares me and what I believe is a twang, you know, Arsenal are not stupid, so they'll make it match up. But imagine we agree to give them this player on loan and they say, F it, we're keeping Partey, which they should, you know. Apparently Partey is part of their plans. With the way Atletico play, you know, you could see Partey and Torreira partnered together with other options in there. That's actually something I wanted Arteta to have, just the option of being able to do according to the game possibilities. You know, if Torreira, I love Torreira, but if he wants to go, it is what it is. You know, if Partey wants to sign, it is what it is. Let's find an agreement. There's 2 weeks to run. You know, I do think, based on what we're seeing and the alleged push to move Torreira, I think if this move doesn't happen, clearly Arsenal are the ones that feel more aggrieved or that they've lost out more. Atletico are happy to keep Partey. It seems simple. You want him, you pay his release clause. I'm sure they want Torreira, and I'm sure Arsenal don't want to keep Torreira. They'll use him in the team and use him as a body as a midfielder, but it's evident, whether it's a tactical decision, whether it's to raise funds, whether it's, you know, to do with Torreira every minute he's homesick and all of these things, there's an active push to move him and a number of players out the club. So clearly if he doesn't move on, there's an issue. So I don't know what to make of that. But for what it's worth, AFC Bell has again reiterated Thomas Partey has already agreed personal terms and Arsenal will sign him by activating his release clause. This was due to take place in late August/early September. However, the club is currently focusing on another transfer. So have we told Partey we're going to get your thing dealt with while we sign Arawa or anything else? I'm not too sure. You know, this other transfer could be Runnison, who apparently today is going to be confirmed as an Arsenal player. You know, let's not get too excited. So this is what I'm saying. If it don't happen, FC Bell, you know, if it happens, you're the man. If it don't, I'm looking at you a bit sideways. I even have to block you on Twitter and them thing there. Moving forward, apparently, for what it's worth, again, like I said, Partey's agreed personal terms. So again, are we going to pay the release clause or provide an offer that Atletico deem acceptable? You have to push it. You know, it's been over a month. At some point, something's got to give, and you have to be a bit more aggressive. If we have been aggressive, then fair play. But I can only go on public perception as an ordinary football fan. But apparently Arsenal have been in regular contact with Thomas Partey's agent for the past 2 weeks. The players' camp was waiting for the start of September to complete a deal, but Arsenal have explained the reason for the delay and what will happen in the next stage. So again, let's see what will happen. I mentioned it, so I'm going to say it again. Charles Watts has said Alex Renunson is expected to complete his move to Arsenal on Monday afternoon and could make his debut against Leicester City on Wednesday night. So by the time this video comes out, if that is true, you can imagine on Arsenal.com you'd see him announced. And if I don't do or have time to do a welcome to Arsenal video, again, you know, he's not the biggest of names. It's not going to be the biggest of fan crowds and stuff. But at the end of the day, we support our own. It's a good moment to sign for Arsenal. We need a number 2. Don't know too much about him. We're going to learn a lot in the opportunities he gets. But welcome to the club, Renison. Moving away from that, though, people, and I don't think there's much more, you know. Mundo Deportivo are saying Bellerin's salary is quite high compared to Barcelona's other options at right back. Apparently, he is not a likely option for them, so he probably won't get a move back to Barca based on that. The PSG links seem to have gone away. You know, you've seen PSG and Bayern Munich and Barcelona in particular linked with Max Aarons and linked with Sergio Dest. So it seems to be these are the men that are on everybody's lips. Previously, it was Hakimi, he's gone to Inter. I think personally, both teams, I don't know how much they really want another right back, because you've heard Wolves are getting Semedo, which is a big signing for Wolves and I believe a blow for Barca. If they want to go with Sergio Roberto there over him, there's an issue. But, you know, maybe if you wait a year, again, a year might be a long time to go from Brighton to Barcelona, but I'd personally be going for Lamptey. You know, that's someone I'd be looking for. You know, if you know, Norwich have said the bidding starts at 20 million for Aaron, so that one should be there. Ajax, you can come to an agreement with Ajax, so I don't think either club will have a problem dealing with either club for these right backs. But I think Lamptey's someone you've got to be looking at, and you know, everybody's seeing what he's on. You can imagine there's scouts looking at him. Chelsea might even bring him back. The top 6 will circle over him one day. Top European clubs will be at him as well. So yeah, people, that's someone I'd be looking at. But in relation to Bellerin, you've heard he wants to move. You hear he could be sold to raise funds. I'm not too sure, man, because I think he's a vital part to Arteta's plans, and I think, you know, they've got a camaraderie stretching back to former teammates. You hear Bellerin actually said Arteta was like a sort of father, uncle figure, you know, this whole Spanish set, you know, similarities and whatnot, and you actually hear Bellerin's a big voice. You know, he might not be the captain, but you hear with the the salary cuts and all of these sort of things, he's the PFA representative. You know, if he wants a new change, you know, he's known Arsenal for a hot sec. This has been his only sort of club as a pro baller sort of thing, excluding Barcelona. But I'm not too sure Arteta will let him go easy. So we'll have to see, and you know, it's another player that won't be sold to raise funds. According to BP Sports writer, Atletico only want Lucas Torreira on loan. They are not currently interested or discussing any move to use him as a make-weight in any deal for Thomas Partey, as they want straight cash. So kind of reiterating what we knew already. We all know Holding's played his way into Arteta's plans, but according to various reports, Newcastle thought they had a deal all but agreed and done to sign him on loan, and are still shocked the move didn't materialise. Apparently Newcastle had even gone as far as sorting a house ahead of his arrival, and I've said it in my previous vid today, but you know, apparently Chambers is the alternative and they want him on loan. We have a 12 million asking price. So big up, regardless what you think of him, man, big up to Rob Holding for playing his way back into plans. I always like to see someone met with adversity and get it back. I'm a fan of Holding, but what you want to see from Holding is consistency. You know, if you play to the level that you're first choice, do your thing. I think you can play for England if you improve and whatnot. But for me, in an ideal world, you know, we have a back four, it's Gabriel and Saliba. If he plays to the level where you say, you know what, them man there can't be in the team, or he's a competent third choice option when he steps in, that's all I want from Holding. And time will tell if he becomes that, but he has played good in patches. So, you know, well done for forcing Arteta to allegedly change his plans based on what we're sort of told as football fans. Well, as just normal Arsenal fans. But on that note, though, I have nothing more to add. So let's see if the transfer stuff develops and stuff. Hopefully there's something more positive for our fans, specifically in the midfield front. You know, Arsenal are playing on Wednesday in the EFL Trophy, if you don't already know. But, or I call it Carling Cup. But in relation to this vid, I've got nothing more to add, man. People, please like, comment and subscribe if you've got anything. Make sure you hit the subscription button once again. I'm out.